Right now is the time of year where people are reviewing the years that they've just had and they're setting goals and sort of new systems in place for new habits in the new year ahead. I love that. This is a great time of year for me to just sort of reflect and get some much needed clarity, at least in this case for this year. It's very much like a jumping on point or just sort of getting back on track with different habits or just getting more aligned, more in line with myself. I think that's what I was trying to say. I'll share all of my personal stuff later if you're interested, but one of the main things that I've just been thinking about or coming back to as I've been writing, one of the main themes, I guess, or just words is intention, and just thinking about being intentional with all of the decisions I have across the board, not just in photography, but just in all aspects of life, big or small decisions, just being more mindful of that. So let's talk about how we can be more intentional as photographers in 2025. I'm going to break this down into a few categories and just share some practical advice that hopefully will help you and I both in the new year ahead. Consumption. Visually speaking, what are you consuming? Is it brain rot on social media? Do you just spend time bouncing back and forth between different apps, usually just feeling bad afterwards? Yeah, you got to knock that off. That's not good for you. And photographers especially, it's probably affecting you too. I'm not here to say social media is a bad thing by any means. If it weren't for social media, you and I, we wouldn't be here doing this thing right now. So like everything, moderation. The obvious argument here is just you're wasting time. You don't have the camera in your hands. You need to put the phone down and actually pick up the camera if you want to be a better photographer. I mean, if the camera is your phone, then, you get what I'm saying. This doesn't just apply to photography, but it's very easy to just look at what everyone else is doing. So just keep that in mind. Spend more time with the camera in your hand and less time with the phone in your hand. But even if you reduce that screen time down as much as possible, as photographers, social media is a tool. And as I said, it's not all a bad thing. So if you are going to be using it, how are you going to use it? Who are the artists or photographers that you're following? Who do you see when you open the app, and how does that make you feel? Does it inspire you? Are you mostly seeing stuff that isn't even related to photography, so it's got you thinking about things that really don't matter? If you don't want to unfollow and offend someone, just use the mute feature on pretty much any social media app. Just curate your feed so you're on a bit more of a strict visual diet. Now, the most obvious solution to this, if you're not going to be consuming photography on your phone, you need to somehow, so how? Yeah, photo books, zines, even just going to galleries. Just immerse yourself in the work that you love, but do it in the real physical world. Nothing else comes close, I promise. Time. You have to take a lot of bad photos to take just a couple of good ones, right? We're not going to become better photographers unless we spend time with the camera in our hands and we're actually practicing. And this is a tough one because you can be as intentional with your time as you possibly can be, but you still only have a certain amount in the day, just like the rest of us. So be intentional, but also be realistic with that and give yourself, a little bit of slack. My day-to-day life and just schedule revolves around my family. Getting the kids up, fed to and from school, picked up from school, down for naps, dinner time, sports, bedtime, baths, asking them what sussy baka means, just like the normal parent stuff, right? And that's not including work. I'm lucky that my job revolves around photography. Most people don't have that luxury. So you factor in a work schedule on top of the family life. How are you supposed to possibly fit time in for photography? I fully get it. I'm not saying you're meant to have a ton of free time and it's going to be easy, but just whatever small amount of time you can find in the week, even if it's just 1 hour once a week, if that's all you've got, make sure you use that to the absolute best of your abilities. Maybe it's as simple as taking the scenic route to or from work, and you're giving yourself just a little bit of extra time along the way in case you see something that you actually want to stop and shoot. Going for a short walk with your camera on your lunch break, or after you get everyone to bed, clear space in the garage or the kitchen or the dining room, your living room. I've done it many a times. Just clear space out and make sort of a makeshift studio and just practice different lighting techniques. Self-portraits, do product photography, practice however you can. Whatever you've got to do, find that time and make that time for it. And parents, You're going to feel guilty for it. You're going to have to battle yourself on that. Anytime you make time to do anything for yourself, if it's especially just something you want to do just because you want to do it and you're going to enjoy it, it feels wrong. I know in any given moment, no matter what I'm doing, even as I film these videos, I know that right now inside the house, I am sure my wife could use an extra set of hands and some help inside the house. But if we don't take care of ourselves mentally and physically, the people that are counting on us are not going to get the best versions of us. So just keep that in mind. Find that time for yourself. If photography is the thing, no matter what the time is, just make sure you find time for it in 2025. Direction. What about being intentional with our direction as a photographer? If the camera is acting like a compass, where is it guiding you? You're a photographer. What are you going to photograph? How are you going to photograph it? I can't tell you how you should guide or direct yourself as a photographer because we're all different. Some of us work better with rigid structure and planning things out, while others work better just spontaneously and without restriction. Whatever your process looks like, just gently nudge yourself in the right direction. Point yourself in the direction of whatever your long-term goals might be. You have goals, right? That's not really what this video is about. We don't really have time to get into that, but you do have goals and you've written them down. You frequently come back to them. Whatever your goals may be, you can take that precious time that we talked about earlier and you can give it your actual focused attention towards the goals that, again, you've written down and you're reviewing on a regular basis. Maybe you want to photograph more people in 2025. Set out a goal to shoot one portrait a month or one portrait every week if you think you can do that. Ask friends or family members to get in front of the camera. Go out in the world and actually approach strangers if you want even more of a challenge. You can kind of work on your social skills and people skills that way, having to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe you want to make a photo book or a zine. Start printing out everything that you have for this photo book or zine. Or if you have an idea for something you want to go out and shoot, just start brain dumping every idea and possible thing you can think of. If you have the work, make the prints, rearrange everything and put out a sequence and figure out how everything feels and then completely shuffle it up and do it all over again with something completely different. Just fully immerse yourself in the project. Again, we're all different. Your voice is unique to you. Your process is going to be unique to you as well. If all of this feels too forced and tactical for your artistic process, don't force it. Don't worry about it. Just all you have to worry about is just gently nudge yourself in the direction wherever you want to see yourself in 1, 5, 10, 20 years. Just gently nudge yourself in that direction. Gear. Folks, this is it. This is the big one. This is the one that I think all of us can and should work on for 2025. We should all be more intentional with our gear. I know you're laughing hearing me say that. Even for me, gear and trying out new gear, changing things up, it's always been a part of this channel, especially, gear videos. They definitely help feed the beast that is YouTube. But I think it's been one of those things that maybe has led to more burnout than it has been like, a creative aid in fixing burnout or getting through burnout. I don't know if I've talked about it. I know I've believed in the past, at least, in the idea that changing up a different camera or lens or something, just shooting with something different than what you're used to, it can get you enough excitement to get out the door and start making pictures again. And I still believe that, but I think it's just too short term. It's not sustainable at all, that sort of excitement. You're just sort of bouncing around from, camera to camera to camera and not really mastering one to where you don't have to think about it. And I think that's really the point. My M6, I'm coming up on 12 years with this camera, and it's still to this day my favorite camera. I've used this camera more than any other cameras I've ever owned. It's my favorite camera of all time, probably because I don't have to think about it at all. It doesn't really excite me. I mean, it feels great to shoot, but there's nothing new and shiny about it. I've used this camera more than I have any other camera in my life. And I think that's the idea. Mastering the one camera, sticking to the one camera or one lens, whatever your setup may be, just sticking to that to the point that you're going to master it before you bounce around and try anything else. I think for me, that's just something that, looking back, maybe is something that I should have done better at, is just not bouncing around as much. Again, it's sort of a tricky thing with the YouTube channel. It kind of helps feed the system, but it's something that I want to change for 2025. And there will be new cameras and things that come out, things that I want to try. that I will make a video about. So I'm not here saying no new, gear videos or anything like that. We're going to continue talking about cameras, but just I think for me, my personal use camera, the camera that I'm going to be making pictures for myself, all of the different cameras I've tried over the years for that reason, I still think my M6, if I made all of those photos I've ever made with any format, any film type, whatever, they'd be different pictures if I made them with the M6 and some black and white film, but I'd probably be just as happy with them, if I'm being honest. Let's all try to spend more time with either the camera that we've already mastered or mastering the camera that we already have. How's that sound? For me, that's the M6. I plan on spending a lot more time with this camera in my hand more than any others. I've been burning through film with it again. It's felt great. I haven't developed anything yet. I still need to finish some stuff to get temperatures at a little bit more consistent, workable temperature for the chemicals out here, but we're getting close. I might be buying an enlarger, my old enlarger that I had 10 years ago. I might be buying all that back from my good friend Corey Miller. I might have already sent him the money for it. I don't know. Things are happening. We got space out here. We got to try and use it. And the theme for 2025 is being intentional. I've said for a while now, I don't really have the time to focus on, a dark room or making prints in the dark room. If I'm more intentional with my time, I might find a way. Before we wrap this one, a big thanks to KEH Camera for sponsoring this video. If you're looking to be more intentional with your gear in 2025, do it with KEH. If you're looking to buy used gear or sell any gear that you already have, KEH is the place to do it. They've been in business for over 40 years. I've been recommending their service on this channel way before they were ever a sponsor. They've got a massive inventory with an amazing grading system, so you always know what kind of condition you're getting, and you can shop with peace of mind knowing you get a 21-day return policy on thousands of items with a 180-day warranty included for free. Anytime you're shopping with KEH, whether you're buying gear or selling gear, make sure you use the links and codes down below. The links go a long way at supporting the channel at no extra cost to you, and the codes are going to save you some money on your order or get you a bonus on your quote. So thank you again to KEH Camera for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. I really, really appreciate all of you spending your New Year's Eve here with me. If you're watching this video, who's here, who's watching in 2047, Leave a comment if you're watching in 2047. I appreciate all of you that are here with me, all of you that have been here for 2024. I wanted to make sort of a end of the year review, just sort of wrapping up the year and reflecting with all of you, but the holiday season just kind of snuck up on me, and I've still been reflecting, as I've said, though, and I just, I've been thinking a lot about this YouTube channel and the future of the YouTube channel. As of less than 2 weeks ago, my wife just started a brand new job as the school nurse for our daughter's school, where she goes to a school for kids with disabilities. The school I've been taking photos for the last few years, and especially this past year. It's literal dream job for her, just for all of us, really. And that changes my daily schedule Monday through Friday now with being home with Forrest. And it also takes a lot of financial pressure as well, where it's now not just only my income, we're now sharing income again for the first time in several years. So that's a really exciting thing. Molly also has some stuff that we'll share, I'm sure. I don't know how to word this without people assuming the worst. Okay, small pituitary tumor on Molly's brain. Doctors believe it is benign and not cancerous, and will most likely plan to have it removed ASAP as possible. We're going to talk to doctors in a few weeks and get a game plan, but likely nothing that we need to be super alarmed with, but a lot of ups and downs in every season of life, oftentimes at the same time. And I share all of that to say, hey, send good vibes, but also just, this YouTube channel, I've been thinking about it a lot. All of the ups and downs that I've shared here with losing both of my parents, and even when I got sick, that really mentally shifted everything for me, more than I realized, and have been realizing so much more very recently just about that, and thinking about myself and being on camera and trying to navigate life and all of that stuff. in front of you all, and all of these versions of myself going through these different things have just been in front of the camera. And obviously, like, I knew that the whole time, but I think it's just making me realize the unconditional kind of support. I think that's what it is. The unconditional support, whatever version of me you guys have gotten over the years, the support has always been there. Really appreciate that. And I'm going to stop there because there's sawdust in the barn. I started getting into woodworking lately. Changed topics. That's been fun, so maybe we'll see some of that. Thank you all for watching this video, for hanging with me for 2024. If you're going out tonight to celebrate the new year, you should just stay home. But if you're going out, be safe. Act responsibly. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I genuinely love you guys, and I will see you very soon. Next year.